Hey there, folks. I'm Joe Crawford of artlong.com. Pretty much every day, I go to CSSBattle.dev, take a look at the daily target, record myself doing it. Let's do that now. Ooh, this is an interesting one. Oh, that's fun. That's fun. Well, we got a few ways to look at this, don't we? Because okay, so these overlap, I guess, and that's kind of interesting. One thing that you can't do is a clip path with box shadows. Let's just verify that. If I do a clip path on the default here and say, let's make a triangle. So that's a polygon, 50% 0, 100%, 100%, 0, 100%. So there's your triangle, right? If I do a box shadow and say 0, 100 pixels. I don't see it because of the clip path. Now, if I do that, now I got rid of the clip path. Now, if I do so, blah blah blah. If I added that to be what 200 vertically, then kind of. I guess I could kind of do something like that with a clip path. If you put the bounds outside, which is a weird quirk about clip paths. Anyway, all right. So no box shadows. I definitely find myself wanting to think about how to do this with conic gradients. So I think that's the approach I'm going to take. The fact that these overlap means that it might not work very well, but I'm curious to see. All right. Okay. So conic gradient. Let's make a conic gradient, and we'll say from what is that 100 130 degrees, and make that blue color, and that's less than 90 degrees. Let's call it 60 degrees, and then transparent. So there's your example. Not particularly good. So it's 130, 40, 50. So that's okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 3. And then that's 56, 57, 56, 55, 54. Okay. That's kind of right. If I say that's at 50%, 50%, and say it's 33% width, then I get a repeat. But see that asymmetry there? So let's make it 100 pixels. 110, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5, 4, 5. So that kind of works, right? But look at these edges. That's a problem. That edge is a problem. Kind of the interesting thing about that is if we did another big triangle, big kind of gradient that's up here, then we could get some of that. I think it's just an inappropriate way. So that's fun. That's fun syntax, but it doesn't really help with this shape very much. And so I actually am not a big fan of that. So let's go blank template. And I think the approach I'm going to take is a simple clip path with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 points, and then a conic gradient on the body. So we'll start with the conic gradient. We'll start with the thing behind, I guess. Yes, at 200, let's say 80%, and this is yellow color, 75%. And then this color, 0. And then we're just going to move it down. So that's, I think that width is too much. How about 60 or even 50, 60? And then we move it. We say, let's push you over 40 pixels. And then we push it down 200 pixels. 1, 2. Ooh, and then we get the repeat, unfortunately. So add 60, so 40 pixels. Actually, how about 30%? Okay, we'll move that over. 5, 6. And then this, we're gonna hide him for a minute. That's could be close to right. 220, not too bad. Let's make that a little less tall. How about 20% tall? Yeah, we only need that much. That's fine. All right, then, so we can turn that into, we use the ampersand selector. No, we can't use the ampersand selector. All right, let's create this element. Background of the light blue, or the slightly darker blue, or tealy. I don't know what that color is. Okay, so now we need to push that down. 100, 30, 40, 50, and then probably -8. And then the height of 120, 30, 40, 50. And our points, our polygon, clip path. I just talked about how clip paths are inappropriate or their limitations, but I think there's a way to do this. So let's see what those numbers are. How about 100 pixels 0, 120 pixels, and I'll use a variable. Oh, and I need clip dash path. I'm going to make that a y variable. How about 80%? Semicolon. 120 pixels var y. 50% 0. 200 pixels var y. That is not working. Why is that not working? Oh, because I don't have the keyword polygon, and I don't have a parentheses, and I don't have a closing parentheses. So there's the mess that I have right now, which is great. Okay. So those are my 7 points. Eyeballing it, totally wrong. So let's move these over 3, 4. So, okay. 75, maybe? Oh, 75 is right. I love it. So that means probably this number here is what? 265 is that number? Maybe. 80, 81, 82, 81.5. It's close, close, close. That 137 number bothers me. And then let's make that number close, close, close. This is just the numbers, and I'm not saying them out loud because it's a little hard to work with. All right, I'm going to submit that. I think we've got an error, but getting close there. That's 99.9%. So yeah, I think it's so. Okay, 0.1. That's this peak here. 0.2, 0.3. So I think this is the number. All right, could that be 100%? Just removing that 0.5? Maybe. That's 100%. Minify, unit replace, submit. Kind of fun. What other approaches would work here? Linear gradients at some interesting angles probably would work as well. So how about without a clip path? Let's see what we can do without a clip path. Okay, so yeah, I think we'll do all linear gradients. So what does that look like? I believe we've done this before. Linear gradient and what, 80 degrees yellow. I'll do a Q value and then transparent. All right, so that angle's wrong. How about minus 180? How about 120? There we go. 120, 10, 20, 30, 40. Let's get that angle correct. 118. Yeah, it's closer. 17, 16, 17. Great. So we need a contrasting color to really make sure that we can see what we're doing. Okay. Perfect. So not very pretty numbers there, but if we do that and then do a minus, then we have that, which is fine. Now, probably we could do, now that we've got that, I think we can do that conic gradient that I alluded to. Conic gradient. From, what did we say? 116 degrees, 0.5 degrees. So that same number. So got to get rid of that now. Okay. So that's probably the same bad numbers that I had before. 2, 3, 4. Perfect. And I believe if I set that at 50% background position and then give it a width of 100 pixels or 110, 20, 30, 28, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, and now a linear gradient, we might be able to get oh, and it's not that color, it's this color here. All right, let's try that one. Fun puzzle. This is a fun puzzle. 99.8%. So not really super good. So what are the shortcomings here? So I'm adjusting that angle, and then I'm going to adjust this angle 3. Is that 100%? I don't know. It might be. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Once again, the back end is a Chromium one. Okay, so let's try what 200 pixels and 20. That looks slightly better. Hoping I can get to 100% with this one, but there are some edges here that are not very good. As always, circles and things at an angle, a little trickier to get right. So could it be these linear gradients that are not quite right? Changing these angles now. Oh, I really want this to get to 100%, but it's possible it'll be more than any of you can tolerate to wait for. So I'm adding a center to this. And what's that? What that's showing me is that maybe oof, so close. Oh, see those edges? Look at those edges. I want them to be so right, and yet they are not right at all. It's a big bummer. So I'm setting that at 0. No, that doesn't help. That doesn't help me at all. All right, well maybe this is not the way to do this. So okay, so we got I think I like the linear gradients pretty much. So then what do more linear gradients mean instead of the conic gradient? Can I do that? Yeah. So okay, so if we've got these yellows, I'm gonna comment that. Then we want linear gradient. So like that. That's what I'm trying to do now. Okay, so okay. So another linear gradient. So those two linear gradients. Great. So then what? I still want to do a conic gradient, but even though I know that that's really probably a mistake. Okay, so what else can we do to make that work? I'm going for the conic gradient. I sure am. Ah, no, I don't want to do the kind of gradient. I really don't. Okay, so what if I do this linear gradient now? If I say comma, I'm going to say do the yellow first. And then transparent. Because I think that's at the halfway mark, yeah? So then I got that. Okay. Okay. A linear gradient from this point would be these same things, but I will need to constrain it in a different way. So I need it to be what, at like that. And then I need it to be not that number. How about 70 or 71? So see how I've moved that over. I've done that linear gradient. And so I needed, if I do the same thing with a minus and put it at that same spot, then that works. And then I'm going to do that linear gradient of yellow. Yellow, yellow. Oh, it's not actually on my paste board. 200 pixels, and then the light, the seafoam green or whatever that color is. Oh, it's 220. All right, let's try that. So that's a lot more gradients. Not as clean as a single conic gradient, and that is 100% match. Minify, unit replace, a lot of gradients, but it works. All right. Video ended up being longer than I intended. However, I like an exploration of gradients and a watchword that anything with an angle is harder to do. And clip pass, clip off things that you might not want them to. They can be pretty complicated. And these are kind of peculiar shapes, definitely. What I would like to do is make a single triangle and then have box shadows work. Now, probably border shape would allow you to do that, right? That would be interesting. I don't know of any sawtooth, like, yeah, I can't think of any ways to kind of do a sawtooth edge that stand out. I guess we could do a mask. I don't know. I like this one. It's challenging. All right, that's enough. 24 minutes of me just writing code and not talking very much. But take care of yourself. Take care of each other. Go make a webpage. I'll see you around.